it's been a while since I've done one of these, and I'm doing it a completely different way than I've done in the past. So I just wanted to jump on here and build out a Flex Friday slip with you guys, gang. CJ Curry, you already know what it is if you're a subscriber to the channel. Appreciate you joining me for this live stream. See, I already got a few people up in here. Mr. Jonathan, we got Everyday Fantasy, aka my guy Don P. Shout out to Don P, longtime supporter, Dub Club member. Appreciate you, Don P. Let me know if you guys are hearing me, seeing me clearly. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done a live stream and doing things a little bit different than I've done in the past. So I want to make sure that you're getting audio, you're getting video, you're seeing me clearly. Hopefully it's in a nice, easy to read easy to see format. I'm kind of tuning in from my phone right now, just trying to see how these things are going, because YouTube's a little weird these days with all this vertical stuff. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's working well. I see a lot of people in the chat popping through. Who we got in here? Jamal, shout out to Jamal. Flex Friday. You got to flex on Flex Friday. I see you, Jamal. FaZe, shout out to you. Appreciate you being here. Brian Williams, I see you. I see you. Who else we got in here? We got Zensei Bino. All right, all right. Who else we got? Gator, aka Manny. All right, I see you, Manny. See, it's gonna be a little different. I gotta associate, some of you Dub Club members, your name in Dub Club ain't the same as it is on YouTube. So gotta kind of make that connection, make that link with you two, with your two different names. Who else we got in here? Investor Mike, I see you. Rogue Samurai says, let's cash. Love that energy, positive energy, of course. Who else we got? TE. Yo, shout out from Houston, Texas. We'll throw the horns up for Texas, but I'm down here in Tampa, so shout out to you, though. What else? Fantastic Arts, Music, Mike checking in. All right, I know you from Discord. You're a Dub Club guy. I like that. Who we got? Abel Alvarez, thank you for all the picks you put out. I'm in the Dub Club. Listen, if you're a Dub Club member, let's make it real easy. If you're a Dub Club member and you're joining me for this live stream, type a DC in the chat for Dub Club. DC in the chat if you're a Dub Club member. Just want to see how many Dub Club members we got in here representing. Jonathan, Rocket Raccoon, there you go. Seeing some names, some faces that I recognize now. Appreciate you guys. I want to get in the Dub Club. Queen Love, I thought you were a Dub Club member. You're not in Dub Club yet? What are you waiting for? You're always in my YouTube videos. You're always in my comments. You should be a Dub Club member. If you want to help support the channel, the free content that I drop here on YouTube, and you want to get access to more picks, plays, parlays, helpful stats and information from myself and other people in the community, I would highly recommend that you join the Dub Club. Matter of fact, go to the description of this video. There's a link for you in there that's going to save you $15 off of your first month of Dub Club. $5 for your first month of Dub Club is a no-brainer, gang. No-brainer. You should be in there. Come on in, Queen. We waiting, Queen. Who else we got here? Power Friday, my friend. Hey, no. It's Flex Friday. You got to flex those slips. PrizePicks doesn't even let you power those Flex Friday slips anymore. But I appreciate you bringing the power to the chat for sure. JT says, for the algorithm, appreciate that. Got to feed the algorithm, people. All right, 45 people. Not bad for a little unannounced pop-up live stream. We'll take it. We'll take it. Should we build out a Flex Friday slip? Is there anybody out there that's still sitting on their Flex Friday slips that hasn't built out a Flex Friday slip yet? Let me know, gang. I still have my Flex Friday. Although it's only $5, it's still something, right? We're still going to try and turn that $5 into $125 if we get a 25x, but I haven't used my Flex Friday yet. Pop says, we missed you yesterday. Yeah, listen, you might have missed me, but I can promise you, you didn't miss anything, because I played some MLB props and they didn't go so well. Did not go good. All right. You didn't miss out on anything. Other than me, other than yours truly, of course. But that's not saying much, is it? We miss you every day, Chef. Well, I appreciate that. You guys are sweet. Got a bunch of sweethearts in here. I love that, man. You guys are bringing the positivity, the energy. Let me set my phone up here, my little sidecar, we'll call it, so I can kind of monitor this live stream. Is my head cut off on the live stream? I know this is vertical, but I don't know. I got the iPhone 15 Max, and so I've got the little dynamic island. I'm looking at myself on my phone here, and it's kind of got my head chopped off by the dynamic island on my iPhone, which isn't the biggest deal in the world. But like I said, I normally don't do vertical live streams. I was hoping that this would show up in the YouTube Shorts section. Something new that I'm trying. I don't know exactly if it's going to work that way or not. It may require me to, I don't know, set up the live stream and shoot it like directly from my phone for it to show up under the YouTube Shorts category or section. I'm not sure how it works, but in the past, I've done live streams, lots of live streams, and typically I do them all from my PC, and they're in a horizontal or landscape format. So I know, kind of geeky stuff I'm talking about here, stuff you probably don't care about, but you know, might start doing these live streams over the summer. Maybe do like a live stream a week. Maybe like one day a week we do like a Flex Friday live stream where we build out a slip together live here on YouTube. Would that be something you guys would be interested in? Let me know. Let me know if you're in the live chat. Let me know if that's something you would be down for. If you would show up for that, I might show up for it and do it with you guys. We'll be doing a lot of MLB, a lot of WNBA over the summer. Obviously, NBA is like, you know, few games left, and then it's gone, baby, gone for the entire summer. And then we're just kind of left with some golf, some WNBA, some MLB. Maybe we've got a little esports. We can sprinkle in some esports here and there. But trying this vertical stuff out, live stream vertical for the first time. We're gonna kind of, you know, see if it works good vertically or not. Maybe I go back to the old horizontal landscape stream format from my desktop, and then figure out how to do some live streams from my phone. I don't know, just figuring it out, winging it, people, winging it. That would actually be lit. You'd be down for some live streams. All right, bet. Josh says, let's get this Flex Friday. For sure, for sure. Let's do it. Just need a set time. Set time would probably be, if we did a set time for future Flex Friday live streams, it would probably be 12 p.m. Eastern time is what I'm thinking. So it would catch these West Coasters, give them time to wake up, get into their morning routine, get to the job, you know, early in the morning. 9 a.m. it would be for Pacific time. 12 p.m. Eastern time. I think that would be a good time. Kind of catches everybody. Casts a wide net. Tries to get everybody a chance to view who wants to view. You know, what do you guys think about that? I know we got people, you know, West Coast, East Coast, and everywhere in between. So I want to make sure that I do it at a time where, you know, the most people can take advantage and benefit and view. So. But yeah, considering doing some live streams every Friday, maybe do like a Flex Friday. Jonathan, he says, this is such a great break from my work, my light in the darkness. All right. Well, hey, let's try this out here. Let's try to build out a slip. I've already went to the promo tab. If you guys are on the PrizePicks app, go to the promos tab. Make sure that you are under the promos tab and you go to the Flex Friday option, opt in. I've already opt in, so now this opt in button turns into a build lineup button. So make sure that you're opted in. I would not opt into anything Stephen A. Smith has anything to do with when it comes to betting on sports. That's just me. You guys ever tail these guys? You ever tail somebody like Funny Marco, Stephen A. Smith, Drewski? Who else do they have in there? The Nelk Boys. You guys ever tail any of these guys and win anything from them? If you have, let me know. Maybe I'm just biased. Maybe I just have some sort of, I don't know, bias against these guys, these celebrities that they put in there under the promo tabs. I've never tailed any of them. I don't even like track their picks. I did think about making like a video series where like I do like a collection of videos where I'm tracking these guys like Stephen A. Smith and Drewski and Ruby Rose and whoever else they throw in there. I kind of wanted to track their picks for a little bit and see just how good or how bad some of these celebrities, some of these influencers that they allow under the promotions tab, how good or bad they are at their picks. I kind of wanted to kind of see if they were good or anything. Pop says Stephen A. Smith's always wrong. Got you. Faye says he's tailed these different celebrities 3 times and have never won anything. Ruby Rose wins. I think she has won. She's won in the past, but I don't know that she consistently wins. And I think that's the key. That's the difference. Let's see. Shar says, I agree. I never tail those guys. That's probably a good idea. That's probably protecting your bankroll, staying away from them. You need a few hundo. What you need a few hundo for, man? It's Friday. It's payday. You're going to get a few hundo on that paycheck. But yeah, we're going to definitely try to put together a slip here. Just trying to give people a little bit of opportunity to slide in here. Get some folks in here who haven't joined the live stream in a minute before we start talking shop. Michael, what's up to you? Long time no see. Trent always chalks. Yeah, well, that's kind of his MO. That's kind of his personality, right? His shtick. He's a losing better. Ghetto Gospel says, they do be chalking. They work for PrizePicks. You ain't wrong. They're definitely getting paid to be in there with those picks. Friday the 13th. You're right. Happy Friday the 13th. Wishing you all a hedge of protection, safety, good luck, and goodwill, good fortune on Friday the 13th. No bad luck around here. No bad luck. No bad juju. All right. Let's start. Yeah, they're getting paid. You're right, AB. They are getting paid. Let's start breaking this stuff down here. What I like to do is look at a few different things. If you've seen any of my videos, I pretty much show you how I research in every single video, right? I use a lot of player projection models. Sites like RotoWire, very helpful tool. If you're not using RotoWire yet and you want to, link down in the description of the video. 25% off a 6-month or 12-month picks membership. Save you a ton of money, a quarter of the cost. So I use RotoWire quite a bit. I also like to reference sports books because real-time sportsbook data can be a key data point, seeing which way that money's coming in. Is it coming in on the over, the under? So we use that via an optimizer. And I just signed up, just partnered up with Prop Professor. I was with Daily Grind Fantasy, but they got bought out. Things are a little different over there. The folks that I was rocking with on the Daily Grind Fantasy team aren't there anymore. They're no longer a part of the product, no longer in the situation, so I'm out. I've jumped over to the Prop Professor. This is my new optimizer of choice, and it's a better product, quite frankly. I've enjoyed it quite a bit more. They support way more sports books, sharper sports books like Pinnacle, like this one right here, Prop Builder. So a lot more sportsbook data. They reference a lot more sports betting sites, which is great for me, great for you. Strip out the VIG, just like the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and they kind of leave you with a percentage of a player prop to hit for the over, the under. So, 53, 54% on some of these props. I currently have it set up to where it's filtered to just show us MLB only right now, but you can go in here and you can choose which leagues you want to have it show. And again, if you want to save money on this, I got you. There's a link down in the description of the video. But like if you want to look at WNBA picks, maybe look at NBA, build like a slip out of MLB, NBA, and WNBA, you could do that right here. Hit save, go back to the Fantasy Optimizer, and now it's going to take a look at all 3 of those leagues, MLB, WNBA, and NBA. It's going to scan several different sports books, DFS pick-em apps. It's going to show you the juice, which way that money's coming in on the over, the under, and then it's going to show you the true odds or fair odds. In other words, none of the odds with the VIG included, because the VIG is kind of like the tax that the sports books charge the bettors in order for them to place these bets on their books. So it's important we strip that VIG out, get a true, honest, fair number, a percentage of a chance of a player prop to hit for us, all right? So this is just another one of the things that I look at. So we got RotoWire in the arsenal, all right? Let me remove these. I was poking around earlier on RotoWire, and hopefully you guys can see all these. I tried to sort of, optimize my screens, optimize the font size, optimize everything so that you guys can see it in a vertical view. And again, if the vertical view is not your jam, let me know. If you'd prefer more of like a horizontal layout on your mobile devices, I know a lot of you are watching from mobile devices. Some prefer the vertical view, some prefer the horizontal view. I'm trying something different with the vertical. So, Everyday Fantasy leaving a super chat. Yo, appreciate that super chat, Everyday Fantasy. He's liking Joe for more than 1.5 3-point attempts, projected for about 2.5 3-point attempts. Well, hey, let's start with that one. Let's start with that one. Isaiah Joe of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, I got to be honest with you, I have definitely scaled back on my NBA bets. Have definitely scaled back on NBA due to just the volatility of the NBA in the playoffs. It gets a lot more difficult to bet on NBA. In case y'all haven't noticed. But you're like an Isaiah Joe for more than 1.5 3-point attempts. So he doesn't even need to make them. We're just talking about attempts. How many threes he's going to get up, not necessarily how many threes he's going to make. So as long as he's taking them, that's all we care about. Now his 3-point make prop is 0.5. So if he makes one, that cashes. But we're looking at the 3-point attempts here over on RotoWire. So pop open his little player card here. Again, hopefully you guys can see most of this data on your screens in this vertical format, but let me know if it's a problem. Just looking at the last 10 games, Isaiah Joe over the course of the playoffs here has hit 2 or more 3-point attempts in 7 out of the last 10 games that he's appeared in. Now, I've noticed that the rotations for the Oklahoma City Thunder have kind of been a little weird. Like Caruso obviously comes off the bench, gets a pretty good set of minutes. But then you got guys like Joe, Wiggins, who from game to game, their roles kind of change. Their minute allotment kind of changes from one game to the next. And that's just part of the chess match that happens when you get into the NBA Finals. You get teams that are adjusting on a game-to-game basis. Like Benedict Mathurin went crazy off the bench for the Indiana Pacers. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think him and Halliburton were the only Pacers that went, for more than 20 points in the last game. Siakam was kind of a decent play. I think he played well. Turner didn't really do much. Some of these other guys, Neesmith, Nembhard, not really, heard from in that game. But in terms of the 3-point attempts, yeah, RotoWire's got Isaiah Joe projected for 2.27 3-point attempts. So he is projected to go over according to the RotoWire tools here. And he has gone over in 7 out of the last 10 games. And what's cool about RotoWire is you can even look at the head-to-head matchups versus a given team. So against Indiana, Isaiah Joe now has had at least 2 3-point attempts in 6 out of 7 games. 6 out of the last 7 head-to-heads. And in this series, NBA Finals series, he's 2 out of 3. He's got 2 games where he's had at least 2 3-point attempts. So could he do it again? I mean, he could do it again. It's just going to be a matter of the minute situation. Like OKC is kind of in a must-win situation. If they get down 3-1 to Indiana, it's going to be hard to climb out of that 3-1 hole. So does that mean that a guy like Isaiah Joe sees fewer minutes because maybe OKC leans on the starters a little bit more? Could very well be. They could be in desperation mode, like let's ride our best players till the wheels fall off because we really need to tie this series up 2-2. That could be a thing. Thunder type of game. Cole, you think OKC is going to bounce back after taking that L against Indiana in that last game? It could be. They need to. Michael says that he only played 4 minutes in his last game, Isaiah Joe. Well, yeah, that's a little scary. Obviously, you want somebody out there that's going to play more than 5 minutes, but that is why his line is 1.5 3-point attempts and not 3.5 3-point attempts. You know what I'm saying? But the projection's looking pretty good here on RotoWire for Isaiah Joe to go over 1.5 3-point attempts. Now, we could check other projections. Most sports books will not offer this prop. So an app like this one, Prop Professor, is not going to have 3-point attempts for a guy like Isaiah Joe. Like if we type in Isaiah Joe's name, all you're going to see in here are more of the standard, common player prop options, like player points at 2.5, player 3-point makes 0.5, but they're not going to have the 3-point attempts. But we've got other really solid projection models that can help us out here. So let's go over to Shot Quality, one of my favorite NBA projection models, and we can take a look at this one a little bit further. Now, Shot Quality's got Isaiah Joe projected to play about 7 minutes tonight. So you're probably expecting him to play somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. 10 would be like maybe he knocks down a shot or two and he's just hot. Coach leaves him in for a couple more minutes and rides the hot hand. Here's his 3-point attempt projection, though. According to Shot Quality, they've got him at 2.07 3-point attempts, which puts him over 1.5, gang. So that could be a very possible expectation, something that happens. Isaiah Joe going over 1.5 3-point attempts. Let's check out one more projection. For this one, this site is FanDuel Research. A lot of you who have been in these player prop streets for a period of time now, you probably know this app as Number Fire. It's the artist formerly known as Number Fire. It is now known as FanDuel Research. FanDuel Research bought out Number Fire, but still offers free player projections, free stats and information. So definitely check this out. FanDuel Research, you can search it up on Google, you'll find it. But let's take a look at Isaiah Joe's projection here. So to get the 3-point attempt projection for a player, what you want to do is find his name in the list, and then once you find his name, click his name. It'll open up a new tab. And once that new tab opens up, get your scroll on, go down a little bit, and you can see today's date, Friday, June the 13th. Now, FanDuel Research has Isaiah Joe projected for about 10 projected minutes tonight. So they expect him to play about 10 minutes. And they have his 3-point attempt projection at 2.8 3-point attempts, putting him close to 3 3-point attempts. We need 2, but he's projected closer to 3. So that's 3 different projection models. RotoWire, Shot Quality, FanDuel Research, who all have Isaiah Joe going over 1.5 3-point attempts. So, I mean, listen, we can't make him do anything. We can only do so much here in terms of research. But as far as the research that I'm seeing, the projection models that I'm referencing and looking at, they've got them all going over 1.5 3-point attempts. So for me, I mean, I don't mind throwing them in there. I'll take Don P, a.k.a. Everyday Fantasy's advice. I'll throw them in there. Now, what's cool about RotoWire that I wanted to show you guys is that you can add picks right from the RotoWire desktop or mobile app. So they've got this add to my picks button. So you just click that, and now it goes under this little tab here called My Picks. And once it's under this My Picks, then you'll see it in here. And once we build out our 6-pick slip, we hit Submit Picks, and then it'll send these picks right over to the PrizePicks app automatically, which is really cool. Saves you a lot of time, saves you from having to bounce back and forth between RotoWire, between PrizePicks, you know what I mean? Switching back and forth between those apps. So we'll go with that. We'll go with Isaiah Joe for more than 1.5 3-point attempts as pick number 1. Remember, this is a protected play. So meaning, yeah, we want to get 6 out of 6 right. But if we don't, if the worst case scenario happens and we get 0 out of 6 right, we're going to get our money back anyway. And for somebody like me who's been limited by PrizePicks, my Flex Friday slip is only $5. That's the most they let me put on Flex Friday. One point, it was at 25 back in the day. Then it went to 20. And then it went from 20 down to 5 mysteriously one day, and they have never given me anything higher than 20 or than $5, but $5 in like the last year. So I've been on a $5 flex play for a long time. So I've been limited, unfortunately. All right, pick 1. Isaiah Joe over 1.5 3-point attempts. I'm going to ride with you, buddy. I'm going to ride with you. So, yeah, appreciate that super chat. Thank you, Everyday Fantasy, for the super chat. And I'm going to take that pick. I'm going to go with you. Christ for you. CJ over 0.5 3-point attempts. CJ who? Me? I'm not taking any threes. Maybe you mean TJ. TJ McConnell? TJ or CJ? Who are you talking about? I'm not sure. Yeah, I do hit. And they know I'm a threat. PrizePicks knows I'm a threat to that bottom line. And so they want to go ahead and limit your boy to nothing but $5. But yeah, way it goes. That's the way it goes. You know, all of my other partners. So I'm now partnered with Underdog, Sleeper, Better, Parlay, Play, Dabble, you name it. I'm partnered with everybody. The only partner that limits me in any kind of way is PrizePicks. And the odd thing about that is I've been partnered with PrizePicks longer than I have anybody else. So they're doing me dirty. They're doing me rotten. For the first time, PrizePicks limited my Flex Friday to $5. I think it's because of the Fire Picks and Dub Club. You know, you might be onto something there. I didn't want to say it, but thank you for saying it. Yeah, we've been kind of hot in Dub Club over the last few days. Yesterday sucked. But the previous days, we've been doing pretty damn good in Dub Club. So highly recommend if you want to join Dub Club. We got a great community. It's connected to Discord. Picks, plays, parlays, stats, and information being sent out every day in various channels by myself and others. So yeah, it's been a good solid month here of June so far. All right, we got a baseball pick. Let's take a look at this one here. Juan Soto over 7.5 fantasy score. You guys down to mix sports? You okay with us putting some NBA maybe with some WNBA with some MLB, kind of make a multi-sport slip? I mean, we could do that. That could be a thing. Juan Soto over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. You could also go Juan Soto over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. But Juan Soto is one of those guys that kind of has a higher than average walk rate, typically, historically. And so you don't get anything for the walks on the 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, but you do get 2 fantasy score for every time he walks. So for a guy like Soto, I kind of agree with you. I would lean more toward like taking the over on his hitter fantasy score before I would his hits, runs, and RBIs, just because he is a guy who is known to be a walker. But opening up his player card here, he is projected for 10.1 hitter fantasy score. And again, the scoring system, as I've mentioned in previous recent MLB videos, the scoring system for PrizePicks, as far as how they calculate hitter fantasy score, is the same exact scoring system that the DraftKings DFS uses. All right. So we're going to be looking at player projection models, which you should be. If you're going to be using player projection models, make sure you're looking at DraftKings projections when comparing against PrizePicks hitter fantasy score. Now, it's a little different for pitchers. For pitchers, it's FanDuel. You want to use FanDuel projections to compare against pitcher fantasy score on PrizePicks, all right? Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions or if that's confusing. But yeah, Juan Soto, 10.11 hitter fantasy score projection on RotoWire. Been kind of hot lately, gang. I mean, just look at the last 10 games for Soto. 70% hit rate. 7 out of his last 10, he's gone over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. In Tampa Bay, decent pitching, not great pitching. This could be a situation where Soto continues to stay hot. They took down Soto's hitter fantasy score. Well, then RotoWire may not be completely caught up then. If they took it down, though, I would pivot over to the hits, runs, and RBIs as an alternative option. So if they took down the hitter fantasy score, your next best option would be his hits, runs, and RBIs. Now, this is a type of prop where if we go over here to the prop professor site, that we could type in Soto's name and get an idea of how the money, if people are betting the over on it, under on it. In this case, it's a slight betting favorite to go under, but it's almost a coin flip. 50.8% chance to hit. Now, this is based on the odds that are set by all these different sports books. You see all these books that the prop professor compares against? All right. So it's about a coin flip. Projected for slightly less than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. But yeah, you guys are saying that It is gone off the PrizePicks board. Let's just go take a peek. Sometimes they will have a knee-jerk reaction and remove stuff, and then they put it back up. No, it's still there, gang. I'm seeing it. I don't know if you guys are seeing it, but I'm seeing it. It's right here. 7.5 hitter fantasy score. It's still up, gang. You can still get it. You can get it. Here's one thing that I've noticed about PrizePicks when it comes to hitters and specifically hitter fantasy score. What I've noticed is when a hitter is in a good spot, what PrizePicks will tend to do is offer nothing but demons and goblins on every player projection market for a guy, except for the hitter fantasy score, because they can't really do a demon or goblin on hitter fantasy score. So Juan Soto kind of falls into that category, except they are offering his hits, runs, and RBIs, as well as his hitter fantasy score. But you'll notice with certain hitters on certain days, you'll see nothing but like demons or goblins. So really soft lines or really difficult lines, they won't give you any of the normal lines typically. This one's a little different because they are giving us the regular 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. But this could end up being changed over to a demon by the time the game gets started, but kind of something to keep an eye on. To me, that says that like they think that this hitter is in a really good spot today and it's too risky for them to offer any of his normal lines. So they're going to make everything a goblin or a demon, really easy or really hard. And then you'll see the fantasy score is just kind of like a regular square. So something to kind of keep an eye on. Donald said he can't see very good on this vertical. What are you not seeing well, Donald? If you could be more specific, because it will help me for future live streams. But yeah, they've got Juan Soto up for both hitter fantasy score or hits, runs, and RBIs. So totally there. If you guys want to take it, it's looking pretty good, man. Looking pretty spicy. 10.11 is the projection again for the hitter fantasy score. I mean, anything that I show on screen, I pretty much like verbalize it. So even if you can't see all too well, at least you've got me calling it out to you. But yeah, we'll add them to our picks list. So far we've got Isaiah Joe over 1.5 3-point attempts, and we've got Juan Soto over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. So those are the two that we're kind of sitting on right now. We're trying to bet out a 6-pick flex. Use our Flex Friday promo. What about some other ones? You guys into any WNBA? You got Angel Reese sitting out here as the top overall play on the board at 11 rebounds. We know she's a rebound machine. This looks like the first time that she's going to be playing Atlanta tonight. But she is projected for 14.4 rebounds, which is a huge projection, given that her line is only 11 right now on PrizePicks. She's pulled in 11 or more rebounds in 6 of 8 games. The only team that she's went under against, she had back-to-back unders against the Dallas. Shoot, their name escapes me. What the hell is Dallas's team's name? Dallas, WNBA Dallas. Give it to me. Give it to me. Can't think of it. Drawing a blank. Wings. The Dallas Wings. There you go. It was in there. I just couldn't pull it up. But anyway, yeah, her rebounds are looking good. 14.4 projected rebounds. What y'all think, gang? Let's check LineStar out. LineStar is another really good app as far as offering a variety of projections for a variety of different leagues and a variety of different apps. But we can check out the projection for Angel Reese's rebounds over on LineStar as well. Let's see where she's at. Right around 11. They've got her at 10.9 projected rebounds. The Wings, yes. Dallas Wings. Thank you. But yeah, 10.9 projected rebounds. So she's floating right around 11. Now, again, with RotoWire, what's kind of neat, you can go and see how she's done head-to-head against Atlanta in the past. Now, these games are going to come from her rookie year. These are not from this season. She has not played Atlanta yet this season. So we're relying on kind of old data, if you want to call it that, 13, 19, and 13 rebounds against Atlanta. Now, obviously, Chicago has made some personnel changes from last season to this. Atlanta has made some player and personnel changes from last season to this season. So it's kind of, not exactly apples to apples or a fair comparison for us to look at how she's performed against Atlanta in the past, being that the teams are a little different than they were a year ago. But she's crushed. She's crushing against Atlanta. Historically speaking, 3 for 3, averaging 15 rebounds per game against Atlanta. The dream. I know Atlanta. Atlanta dream. See? Got some WNBA in my old noggin. But yeah, really good hit rate so far this season. 11 or more rebounds in 75% of the games that she's played in. 3 for 3 against Atlanta head to head. You could even look at like how she's performed on the road this season, where she's grabbed at least 11 boards in 1, 2, 3, 4 of 5 road games. I'm gonna add her to the list. What y'all think, gang? Am I crazy for doing it? I'm throwing her in there. 11 rebounds. We know she can't. Well, she could score. She could score a little bit, but we know she's a rebounder, right? If there's one thing she's going to do, it's typically get on the glass. So, who's she going up against for Atlanta? Brianna Jones and Brittany Griner. Ooh. A lot of big bodies out there, gang. Not to mention she's got her own teammate who might be the biggest of the bodies of them all, Camila Cardoso. Whew. Okay. Something to consider, man. A lot of tall ladies out there in that game, Chicago, Atlanta. But I'm going to add her to the list. She could sit right there for now. The other game, just while we're talking WNBA, has a lot of question marks. You got Asia Wilson, who's listed as a game time decision. She is more likely to be out than in. RotoWire kind of has her listed as more like a doubtful rather than like a questionable. So you may not have Asia Wilson in the starting lineup for the Las Vegas Aces. Over on the other side, Tierra McCowan's out for Dallas. Misha Hines-Allen is a game time decision. Dejanay Carrington, game time decision, probable to play. So just some injury news that you guys need to stay on top of. WNBA's been printing. I don't know if you guys have been playing any WNBA props, but definitely better than betting on the NBA Finals. Just saying. Don't shoot the messenger, but it's true. Facts. WNBA regular season is easier to bet on than NBA Finals. What do y'all think? Am I crazy? Yeah, Asia Wilson, head injury, probably out. Is that because of... Never mind. I was going to make a Bam Adebayo joke. You said Asia Wilson head. I thought Bam Adebayo. You put 2 and 2 together. You let me know. But anyway. Fantastic Art says, hands down, WNBA over NBA. You know. If you know, you know. If you've been playing some WNBA, then you know it's a lot easier than NBA has been here recently. So, but yeah, we got Angel Reese in there. She's going to have to battle with some big girls out there. Angel Reese is big in her own right. Height, stature. But, you know, she could hold her own against a lot of these ladies. All right. We got 3 picks so far that we're sitting on. We got Isaiah Joe over 1.5 3-point attempts, Juan Soto over 7.5 hitter fantasy score, Angel Reese over 11 rebounds. If you guys have recommendations, just bring it. Let me know. Let me know in the live chat. If you want to leave a super chat, jump the rest of the line, support free content here on YouTube, which is, me. You could leave a super chat as well, like my guy Everyday Fantasy did. I appreciate that. But what else do you guys want to play today? What else do we have? Pascal Siakam under rebounds, Jackie Young assists. Over or under on the assists for Young? Brianna Jones over rebounds. So I'm not going to play Brianna Jones over rebounds if we're going to play Angel Reese over rebounds. Because to me, that doesn't correlate well. If we think Angel Reese is going to have a strong rebounding game, it's probably going to be a detriment to Brianna Jones's rebound upside. Does that make sense? We think Angel Reese is going to do well, then that means Brianna Jones and or Brittany Griner is going to do bad, right? That's what we're hoping. Unless they're just missing a ton of shots and both of them can grab a shit ton of rebounds. That could very well happen. Yeah, I think Chet Holmgren may be due for like a down game. He kind of went off last game, but the 2 games before that, he didn't really go off. I would not be surprised if Chet Holmgren maybe came crashing back down to earth tonight. Just a little bit. What do you think? Bad take or nah? I had played his 18.5 points and assists in previous games because he had went under 18.5 pretty consistently. He's down to 17 points and assists for this game. But like I said, kind of had a good game, 22 PA in the last game, but I could see Holmgren maybe like coming back down a little bit. Like it felt like one of those hero games for a Holmgren that he has every once in a while. He's kind of one of them guys though that isn't really that big of a focal point for the team. He's kind of like the third option, you know, behind SGA, J-Dub. So I could see him maybe kind of coming back down to earth just a little bit. At 22 is about as good as he's got. Last 10 games, I mean, he's been sort of hit or miss, wishy-washy, 60% on 17.5 points and assists. I don't know. Kind of think Holmgren might come back down, but we'll see. You know how it goes. Guy has a really strong game, and then the next game, you know, kind of comes back down to earth a little bit. He's averaging right around 23.7 points plus rebounds over the last 10 games. Only a 50% or coin flip in terms of hit rate over the last 10 games for Holmgren on the points plus rebounds. So maybe that's the one we attack. What are the sports books saying today on Chet Holmgren? Let's look. How are people betting Chet Holmgren today? Well, they are taking the under on the points and rebounds, about a 51% chance for him to stay under 24.5 PR. So you are seeing some money come in on Holmgren under PR. So if you're going to take an under on Holmgren, that would probably be the best one to take the under on is the points plus rebounds. So that could be a thing. Yeah, must win. Yeah, but you kind of saw SGA sort of take a step back in the scoring department. Like, are the Pacers going to keep SGA under, what do you have, like 20-something points? Under 30 points? Are they going to be able to keep SGA under again? Or is SGA going to pop back up to the SGA we know, MVP caliber? And is that going to come because Chet Holmgren goes under? You know what I'm saying? Kind of a rebalancing of the situation. Think Holmgren's going to be a defensive monster today? Is that who we're talking about? Okay. Maybe. What I will say is that for a lot of these guys, when it comes to the NBA Finals, it's really hard for them to repeat what they've done in the previous game in back-to-back games. You kind of see some of these guys like go well over and then they come crashing down, and they go well over the next game and then they come crashing down. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a seesaw situation. Like a guy like SGA, like perhaps he's due for sort of a bounce-back game. What did he finish with in the last game? Just 24 points? 24 points after reeling off 34, 38, 34, and 40 in the previous 4 games. SGA bounce back game? Anybody? Is anyone on board for an SGA bounce back game? What's he at? 33.5 tonight? Might be spicy. Might be sweaty. Might barely get over 33.5, but it could be a move. I don't know. Maybe he's due for a bounce back. I don't trust Jalen Williams. He had a good game last game, but I don't trust Jalen Williams. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. Somebody else had mentioned Pascal Siakam. What was Siakam in there for? You had Siakam going under rebounds, was it? Somebody mentioned Siakam under rebounds. Let's look at that one. The last 10 games for Siakam he has been under rebounds more than he's been over. But here's why I'm a little skittish on this one. In this series against OKC so far, Siakam has had 10 rebounds in game 1, 7 rebounds in game 2, 6 rebounds in game 3. To me, this feels like one of those situations where Siakam might bounce back up and go over 7 or more rebounds. 10-7 goes all the way down to 6. But perhaps this is one of those games where he bounces back up to what he did in games 1 and games 2 versus OKC. Now, historically speaking, versus OKC, he's got a pretty good track record of 7 or more rebounds. 11, 10, 9, 10, and 7 in his last 7 head-to-heads versus the Thunder. So he's hit 7 or more boards in 5 out of the last 7. These are the types of things that I look for. When a guy has hit a player prop in recent games at a pretty high clip, or he's hit a player prop against a team at a pretty high clip or rate, and then he kind of has one of them down games, those are the types of ones that I like to go back to and take the over on in the next game and hope that he has at least, 7 or more boards. What you think? He's projected for 8.65 rebounds is Siakam. Let's check these sports books out. He's got about a 50.6% chance to have 7 or more rebounds. It's a little bit more of a likelihood that he has 7 or more rebounds than 7 or less rebounds. Now, it could tie, could push. He could very well just land right on 7. That happens all the time, which is why PrizePicks likes to split the difference. Instead of having them at 6.5 or 7.5 rebounds, they just cut it right down the middle and give you that 7 number. Let's check out some other projections for Siakam's rebounds, though. Siakam rebounds, 6.6. This is Fantasy Labs, has him at 6.6 rebounds. Shot quality, another one of my favorite NBA models. They've got him at 6.5 rebounds. Interesting. Line Star, another NBA player projection model. Let's check out Siakam over there. We got to go NBA. All right, they've got Siakam at 6.9 rebounds on Line Star. So he's right around that 6 to 7 rebound range on most of these sites. Let's check out FanDuel Research. They have Pascal Siakam at 7.7 rebounds. So I don't know. I could see him grabbing 7 boards. Siakam. Some of the other top ways to play Siakam, the under on his 0.5 player blocks is actually the highest from a mathematical standpoint. Has the best odds, the best chances of hitting him not having a block tonight, going under 0.5 blocks. 53.3% chance for Siakam. I'm going to throw Siakam's rebounds in there. Hoping, banking, counting on him to kind of snap back after what was kind of a down rebound game for him. 6 boards. I'm going to throw him in there. He's being added to our list. All right. Boom. Added him to the picks list. They got their throat, or they got their foot. They got their foot on the throat of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they need to finish them off. Not finish them off, but go up 3-1, which would basically be like finishing them off. You guys appreciating the live stream? Are you liking the live format? I know you guys usually see me in these 10, 15-minute videos. Is it cool to kind of do a live stream where you can actually interact, chat, go back and forth, pick my brain. You like that? Like the format? I'm going to do the live streams, I think, for a little bit more often. It's been a while since I've done a live stream. I mentioned Jalen Williams, though. 22.5 points. He had 26 in his last game, but the two previous games against Indiana, 17 and 19. This is another one of those guys where, historically speaking, against Indiana, hasn't been, a great performer. Prior to that last game when he had the 26 points, he had put up 20, 18, 17, and 19 points against the Pacers. So this is one of those opportunities where I think a guy who, maybe played a little bit better than he normally does against this given team, where he could possibly come back down a little bit. He's projected for right around 21 points on RotoWire, 20.93. 20.93 points for J-Dub. So they have him going under 22.5. Let's check out the sports books on this guy. What is the betting public doing with Jalen Williams tonight? They've got him going over 10.5 rebounds and assists. That one's been pretty money over the course of the playoff run for the Thunder. He's been going over that one quite a bit. They got him going over 5.5 rebounds, just the rebounds. So you could go over on the rebounds and assists at 10.5, over on just the rebounds at 5.5. They've got him going under points plus rebounds, though, at 27.5. Interesting. His points on their own, 21.5 points. Well, this says 21.5. I thought he was at 22.5. 50.3% chance for him to stay under. Let me look at something here. Where do they have this man? He is at 22.5 points on PrizePicks. I kind of like that under, gang. I know they need to win, but I know they need to win. I know OKC is desperate for a dub. But shoot. Is he going to cook again? It went under 3 straight games, going back to that last game against Minnesota, games 1 and 2 against Indiana. I don't know. I can kind of see that being an underplay. Let me look at something else here. Let's pull up some other projections on Jalen Williams. I'm just trying to get a feel, a vibe check. 22.5 is where they have him over on Fantasy Labs. Now, I've told you guys in previous videos, when you look at these projections, you got to take another about 10% or so off. You got to shave off a little bit more off of whatever they're saying he's projected for. So if they're saying 22.5, that doesn't mean 22.5. I know it's weird. It's a long explanation why I'm telling you to take another 10 to 15% off, but trust me. Now, if you do that, that puts him under 22.5. All right, let's check another projection, though. 21.5 roughly over on shot quality. About 21.5. Line star. They've got Williams going under. They got him at 18.2 projected points. Yeah, gang. I'm throwing him in there. I'm throwing him in there to go under. And just to cap it off real quick, FanDuel Research has him at 20.4 projected points. So every NBA player projection model out there pretty much has him going under 22.5. If you scared, go to church. Or just fade the pick. You can do that too. But it is a protected pick, so not feeling too sad about it. Not feeling too concerned. I'm going to add him under 22.5 points, though. Somebody's going to underperform. I don't think it's going to be SGA. I think if anybody's going to overperform after a bad performance, it's probably going to be SGA, right? That's who I would bet on. He had kind of a down game, really down game by his standards. Yeah, Jalen Williams had kind of an above-average game. Chet Holmgren had kind of an above-average game. One of these dudes is going to go under. And I don't want to go under on SGA, especially coming off of a bad game. I'd rather go under on a guy who's coming off of a really good game, an above-average game. So that leaves J-Dub or Chet. Reese rebounds are gone. Well, I'll be damned. You're right. They removed it. They removed it. That's the power of these live streams, gang. I think we influence them. I think some of y'all out there watching these videos, these live streams, y'all must have threw down a pretty penny on that Angel Reese rebound prop. Because PrizePicks took it down. That's okay though. We're good. We're going to find more picks. We're going to get more picks. They made it a 10.5 rebound goblin. That sounds about right. That sounds par for the course for old PrizePicks there to do something stupid like that. I love them. Love PrizePicks. Love you guys. But yeah, y'all do that. And when y'all do that, it pisses me off a little bit. It's annoying. But that's all right, PrizePicks. You scared. Ellie De La Cruz. Hit her fantasy score over. Well, when I play Ellie De La Cruz, I like taking his fantasy score because this guy is a base stealing bandit. And when you steal a base on PrizePicks, you get 5 fantasy score for every stolen base. So if I'm playing any Ellie De La Cruz, it's typically because I think he can potentially steal a base, and I'm taking the fantasy score for that reason as well. But yeah, projected today for 12 hitter fantasy score. Big projections for Ellie De La Cruz. Who's pitching for Detroit, though? Normally I have all this stuff pulled up, but like I said, I got a situation going on here. I got multiple monitors, multiple screens and stuff pulled up. Yesterday it was Skubal pitching for Detroit, so I know he's not pitching today. Who else they got out there though? But yeah, that could be a solid option. I mean, if he's in a good stolen base matchup, especially, I mean, those are the types of things that I like to look for. Let's go look. Is he in a good stolen base matchup? Let me see. He is going up against, more than likely, it's going to be Kaider Montero. And based on what I'm seeing here, Montero is not necessarily a guy who gives up a ton of stolen bases. But then again, he is going up against the best base stealer in the majors over the last couple seasons. So if there's anybody who can beat or overcome a bad matchup, it is Ellie De La Cruz. Yeah, Jay Birch, I think Jay will under 22.5 points, man. There's just a lot of projection models, a lot of data that suggests that Jalen Williams might have overproduced in the last game, might have overperformed. But typically he's the guy that goes under 22.5 points. We'll add Ellie De La Cruz to our list. Like the pick, don't know if I love the pick for Ellie. But here's what we have so far. Isaiah Joe over 1.5 3-point attempts. Juan Soto over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. Pascal Siakam for 7 or more rebounds. Jalen Williams for under 22.5 points. And Ellie De La Cruz, Cincinnati Reds, over 7.5 hitter fantasy score. Okay? That's what we're cooking with so far. Let's take a look at some sports book data. A lot of interesting picks that are kind of bubbling up to the top of this optimizer. Obi Toppin over 10.5 points and assists, 55% chance to hit. Pretty big number, 55%. Jalen Williams over 26.5 points and assists. Could be a move. Obi Toppin over 9 points, 54.8% chance that he has 9 or more points. You've got Alicia Gray, who was our Taco Tuesday WNBA player a couple days ago. Under this time, though. Under points and assists at 22, 54.5% chance. Brittany Griner, under 18.5 points plus rebounds, a 54.4% chance for her to stay under. It's got some options out there. This Griner one's kind of interesting because FanDuel has her at 17.5 PR. DraftKings is reporting that she's at 14.5 points plus rebounds. So if PrizePicks has her at 18.5 points plus rebounds, but DraftKings has her at 14.5 points plus rebounds, that's a 4-point differential on the points plus rebounds. That's a huge number. It's quite a big difference. Those are the types of opportunities that I usually like to bet on. Even FanDuel rather has her at 17.5 points plus rebounds. Let's look at this Brittany Griner a little closer here. Griner PR, 18.5 on PrizePicks, projected for 16.27. She's been wishy-washy, up and down, hit or miss this season. Not consistent, in other words. 57% of the games that she's played, she has gone over, so slightly more overs than unders. Averaging 18.6 points plus rebounds per game this season, but projected for just 16.27 points plus rebounds. She is coming off of a down game against Indy. She has not had 2 games in a row where she's gone under in back-to-back games. So that's a little scary, a little dicey for me. Again, I look at these little patterns. I look at these little trends. Normally, just this season, if we're looking at just this season in a vacuum, when she has a bad game, she bounces back and goes over in the next game. So you see this 12 PR against Indiana, comes back with 23 against Dallas the next game. 3 against Seattle, comes back with 24 PR against Connecticut in the next game. And then she comes back down to earth against Indiana again with just 13 PRs. So a little bit misleading, a little bit deceiving. If you look at the head-to-heads versus Chicago for Brittany Griner, girlfriend been hitting the over. 37, 23, 32, 23, and 36 PR in her last 5 head-to-heads versus the Chicago Sky. I'm good. That's a fade for me. I'm going to leave that one alone. I know she's projecting under, but coming off of a bad game, down game, and going up against a team that she historically crushes against, I'm just going to steer clear. Steer clear. You guys are talking about Kyle Tucker fantasy score. Liking some Tuck. King Tuck. You want to go, whoa. Kyle Tucker over fantasy score versus Paul Skeens? Did you consider the matchup at all? Paul Skeens? Just saying. One of the top 3, 5 pitchers in baseball right now? No. No, sir. Yeah, I can't play Kyle Tucker over hitter fantasy score against Paul Skeens. He might. I'm not saying he can't. He could. A lot of things could happen. I'm just not going to do it. Too many other games, too many other players, too many other options on the board for me to take Kyle Tucker over Paul Skeens, against Paul Skeens. I'm not going to do that one. Sorry. Can't do it. What about Camila Cardoso? Talk about somebody who's coming off of a good game. Maybe she comes down a little bit going up against Brianna Jones, Brittany Griner. Tough veteran front court that Atlanta possesses. You know? Maybe Cardoso struggles a little bit. What's her numbers against Atlanta? Oh, she's another one that cooks versus Atlanta. But I will say that the games that she's went over against Atlanta were from last season. And Atlanta didn't have Brianna Jones or Brittany Griner last season. Much different front court for Atlanta this time. So it's a little misleading, like I said, to look at games from last season. What had happened in the past last season doesn't necessarily apply or matter all that much this season. Way different front court now for Atlanta. So Camila Cardoso, I don't know. Maybe she struggles tonight against Griner and Jones. Big back Bree Jones. Might keep her in check. I don't know. I'm going to stay away from that one, though. Yeah, I can't mess with Kyle Tucker against Paul Skeens. I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it. Pena. Who are we talking about here? Jeremy Pena versus Minnesota over, what, 7.5 fantasy score? Oh, he's been cooking. He's been doing a really good job going over his hitter fantasy score. Over the last, 15 games or so, he's been crushing it. Again, matchups are everything in baseball. Hit rates. I mean, there are some guys that go on sort of these hot hit streaks or cold hit streaks. You know what I mean? It happens. But matchups are everything. You got to look at everything in baseball. You got to look at the pitcher they're going against. The handedness of the pitcher. Is he a righty or a lefty? Does this hitter hit better against righties or lefties? Is it an outdoor game or an indoor game? Is it a game that's taking place outdoors and in the day, or is it at night? All this stuff matters. The umpire behind the plate, is he more prone to call strikes or balls? Is the catcher that's catching a good framer? Does he frame his pitcher's pitches well, where they could be called more strikes than balls? All that stuff goes into it. There's so much about baseball that goes into it, which is why I use projection models, because it takes into consideration all that stuff that I just mentioned, and it saves us from manually having to think about that stuff. Good projection models do that. So appreciate the sub. Thank you, Nori. Thank you for subbing. They added Angel Reese's rebounds back, but did they add it back at 11? What did they add it back at? Gang, you could also do this. You could also go just defensive rebounds. She's hitting that at almost the same clip as her regular rebounds. And against Atlanta, she's had 11, 14, and 11 defensive rebounds against the Dream. Not this version of the Dream. Last year's version of the Dream. But yeah, you could take just the defensive rebounds if they don't offer the 11 rebounds like they had before. Oh, they still have it. There you go. It's back. It's back. But yeah, you could go total rebounds at 11, or you could go just defensive rebounds. I think, both of those are in play. Add her back to our picks. The ones that I'm really liking out of these, I think, gang, like for me, I got to look closer at some of these MLB ones, truthfully. Like I want to look closer at Juan Soto, Ellie De La Cruz. Like I want to look at these a little bit closer, which I'm not like in the best position to do on this stream. But the ones that I'm liking the most, I mean, I would play Isaiah Joe, I'd play Pascal Siakam, I'd play Jalen Williams, and Angel Reese. Like those are like my four sort of like front runners right now. Those are the four front runners right now. But I can't play a 4 pick. I got to get 2 more that I feel solid about. I'll probably leave MLB off though for now until I can look into the ones that we discussed a little bit closer. Let's see, anything else for like WNBA popping off? Jewel Lloyd hasn't been great this season, but no Asia Wilson will probably open up more shot opportunities, more usage for somebody like Jewel Lloyd. So taking an under on Jewel Lloyd's not my favorite thing. We're kind of going into that one blind a little bit. Now, somebody mentioned Jackie Young earlier. Jackie Young over, what was the play? What was the Jackie Young play? Yeah, there you go. SF Bill saying Juan Soto is 0 for 6 against today's starting pitcher. See, that's the type of stuff I want to look more into and why I'm like a little hesitant on some of these MLB plays. Like, he's been hot. Juan Soto's been hot. He's projecting well, but just a little bit more finer details you got to look into. Somebody was mentioning something about Jackie Young. What was it? Remind me, gang. You guys have left a ton of messages, and I appreciate those. Likely no Asia Wilson tonight. Just looking at Jackie Young's points. Not sexy. She had 34 in the last game, though. Rebounds? Jackie Young rebounds. I could see that. I could see no Asia Wilson. Maybe more rebound opportunities for Jackie Young and the rest of the Las Vegas Aces. Whew. Against Dallas, she is a rebound machine. Jackie Young is a rebound machine. She has had 4 rebounds or more now in 8 out of 10 head-to-heads versus Dallas. Okay, Jackie Young. And now you're taking Asia Wilson off the court. I could see an opportunity here for a 4 or more rebound performance for Jackie Young. Okay. You know what? I'm adding her. I'm adding her to the picks. Let's look at some other projections for Jackie Young. You take Asia off the court. That's double-digit rebounds that goes missing out of that starting lineup. All right, Line Star's got Jackie Young at 3.3 rebounds, but I wonder if their projections are updated to account for Asia Wilson sitting out. And it looks like it might. Yeah, 3.3 rebounds for Jackie Young is their projection. Kind of low. Not what I was expecting or hoping for. Let me look at one other tool here. Jackie Young less on the 9 rebounds and assists. Jackie Young for more on the 20.5 points, and Jackie Young for less on the 4.5 assists. These are her top 3 plays according to Fantasy Labs. Very interesting. Let me look at one more thing here. Pull up some outlier. Go WNBA. Let's go Young. Let's take a look at her in games played without Asia Wilson, which we might have to go back to last season for. Games without Asia Wilson. She had 1 from last season. Remember, Kelsey Plum was on the team too, so this isn't going to be a great way to kind of like check, but it's the only way we have. She had 0 rebounds in the 1 game against the Liberty without Asia Wilson. What about points? 12 points, no rebounds for her. Again, Plum was on the team still. She's not there now. Now it's like Jewel Lloyd instead of Kelsey Plum. All right, so it's going to be kind of tough. It's going to be hard for us to really get any kind of historical data on Jackie Young. I mean, just looking at things, to me, it kind of seems like she should step into a larger role without Asia Wilson. 53.1% chance that she has at least 4 rebounds. Yeah, I'm going with the 4 boards. I'm going with it. I'll take her for 4 or more rebounds. I think that's about as safe as we can get. What's up, James? AKA Space Jam. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, we're live. We're doing a little live slip building here. We're building out a Flex Friday 6-pick slip. So far, we've got a few. I'm going to take Juan Soto off. I'm going to remove him. Somebody brought up a good point that his numbers against today's starting pitcher aren't great. And it kind of feels a little trappy with how hot Juan Soto has been. It's just a matter of time before he shits the bed. Maybe today is that time. I don't know. But yeah, we've got Isaiah Joe for 1.5 3-point attempts. Siakam for more than 7 rebounds. Jalen Williams for less than 22.5 points. Ellie De La Cruz. is a like for me, not a love until I can like dig into it a little bit more. I know he's not in a great stolen base matchup, so that is kind of keeping him from being a play that I love. Angel Reese for 11 or more rebounds, and then we got Jackie Young for 4 or more rebounds is what we're looking at. Oh, SGA under 0.5 dunks. Say what? They got, is that on RotoWire? Let me look at that. They don't have, they have dunks on RotoWire? I don't see it. All right, let's pull it up here then on Outlier. So I know they support the dunk prop. By the way, free access to Outlier, link in the description below if you want to get access to everything that you see me pulled up here using on the screen. Outlier offers a 7-day pass for all of you who are interested. So let's go find his dunks. Thought they were on here. Pretty sure they're on here. They used to be on here. I don't see his dunks on here. Did they pull it? There it is. Let's see. Huh. They might have taken it off PrizePicks. They did take it off. Damn it. That's what it was. Yep. They took it off. Yeah. So they removed it. But that could have been a good one, I think. I think that could have been a good one. All right. So no dunks for SGA. That's off the board, apparently. Just double check. Shay. Yeah, he's not on here anymore for dunks. That one gone, baby. That one's long gone. They must have taken it down. Must have been too spicy, too good, too juicy. But yeah, he's gone. Oh well. What else you got? You got anything else? Space Jam. He's one of our contributors in Dub Club, by the way. Shout out to Space Jam. Always putting out some nice slips. Appreciate you. Bounce back game for Shea. That's kind of how I'm feeling, Rogelio. I'm with you, bro. I think it's kind of a bounce back game for Shea kind of night. Put the team on your back, Shea. What about, damn, his field goal attempts are 24.5. Whew, that's a big number. I was thinking about maybe taking field goal attempts for Shea because you know the boy's got it. He's going to be shooting. What about his three-point attempts? Nah, I can't really do the three-point attempts. He's not much of a three-point shooter. Like, he might get shots up, but nah, I can't do it. If he shot a higher volume of threes, I'd be in, but Bobby Witt Jr., fantasy score? Who's Bobby going against today? What's them numbers looking like? It's the A's, so probably not anybody too great in terms of pitching. Is it Severino? Is it Luis Severino that's pitching today for the A's? D, nice. Appreciate the love on that super chat. Can you look up Dejanay Carrington points? For sure. Let's look at that one. Thank you, D Nice, for the super chat. Much appreciated. Goes a long way, man. Goes a long way in supporting what I do here on YouTube. Let's go Carrington. Now, the only thing that concerns me about Dejanay Carrington is the return of Paige Buchers. And obviously, Paige went off in a big way last game. But I did play some Dejanay over 16 PRA, I think it was, and she ended up going over. She is on the injury report with a left shoulder situation too. So that's kind of another thing. And I believe she shoots righty, so the left shoulder is probably not too big of a concern, but it's a little bit concerning, I would say, that she is dealing with some sort of shoulder-related injury, and we're thinking about taking her points, and Paige Buchers is, firmly in the situation now. But yeah, she's went under her points, has Carrington in the last 2 games. 11 in that last one, 6 in the game before. And then I know some of the games where she was going off with like these 16, 15, 16, 22, 16-point games, Paige Buchers was out for some of those. So it's a little, maybe a little bit misleading when you kind of look at her game logs and stuff, but let me just take a peek real quick at Dejanay Carrington. We'll go points, all right? But then we'll do games with Paige Buchers in. Yeah, see how it starts to kind of look less sexy when she plays alongside of Paige Buchers? What about with Arike Gumbawale? Yeah, so with Paige and Arike in there, I mean, she's at like 43% hit rate, averaging right around 11 points per game. And her shoulder might be jacked up. Her minutes are just crazy, like with both of them active. 26, dips down to 18, goes up to 27, then down to 20, 15, 37 minutes, 30 minutes. So I don't know. Her minutes over the last couple of games played with Agumbawale and Buchers, I mean, they've kind of perked up a little bit, 30-plus minutes in the last 2 games. But, yeah, it's a little iffy for me. I don't think it's a great play. But let's just run some projections on it, see what the projection models are looking like. So RotoWire's got her projected for about 13.68 points. So that's a good projection on RotoWire. Let's check LineStar. LineStar has her at 13.9 points. Again, another good projection for her. And let's see if we have her on Fantasy Labs here. Yeah, she's projected to go over on everything. So PRA at 19, PR at 17, and rebounds just by themselves at 5. But yeah, no, Carrington is on the injury report, but she's more likely to play than not play. It was Isaiah Joe for more than 1.5 3-point attempts. So he's got to take 2 threes, and we cash that one. Thanks for the sub. If you're watching me for maybe the first time and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate you guys for doing that. Underdog is doing a promo for who? CC? Is that Caitlin Clark? Or is that CJ Curry? That would be me. What's the CC mean? Is Caitlin Clark back? I thought she was still out. And joined Dub Club. Yeah. What he said. What James said. Yeah, Carrington's minutes are a little wishy-washy. I mean, Dallas has just been so bad this season. They've been on the wrong end of so many blowouts that can't really rock with her like that. It's a little iffy. Wesley, we're still cooking. I'll let you know here momentarily what we're sitting on, but we've got a few. Shea over rebounds. Let's run that. Shea over rebounds. What's his rebound number? If it's like 5.5, that could be a play. They are at 5.5. All right. He's got about a 51.7% chance of getting 6 or more rebounds. So SGA over 5.5 rebounds. If you're going to take an SGA over or under on his rebounds, it looks like the over would be the way to go. Let's check something else out, though. Let's check out some projections. Shea, 5.5 rebounds. Over the last 10 games, he's only went over 5.5 rebounds in 3 out of 10. Against Indiana, that last game where he had 8 rebounds, that was the first time he went over versus the Pacers in this series. So for me, I'm a little iffy on it. Previous games, though, these are games from earlier on versus Indiana in the regular season. 7 rebounds, 7 rebounds. But then the first 2 games of this series, 5 and 5, and then 8 in his most recent game versus the Pacers. Projected for 6.41, though. 6.41. Let's take a peek at what his rebound projection is over on Fantasy Labs. 5.6, so not a huge projection differential between his line and his projection. 5.6 is slightly more than 5.5, but not much, 5.7 is his projection over on shot quality. I don't know. To me, it seems more like a coin flip than anything. I'm trying to avoid coin flips. I want those plays with some good value to them. I mean, some of the other ones that are popping up on the optimizer right now, Obi Toppin for more than 10.5 PA. Obi Toppin for more than 9 points. I'm skipping Brittany Griner. Just too much good history against Chicago. Coming off of a bad game as well. This could be a bounce back spot for her. Jackie Young's on our list. We've already got her kind of queued up. Obi Toppin again for more than 14 points plus rebounds. Lots of love for Obi Toppin on the sports betting markets today. Looks like a lot of these sites, sportsbook sites, the betting public is taking the over on Obi Toppin. Andy Pajes over hits, runs, and RBIs. He's been pretty solid. He has about a 51.4% chance of going under, though, on 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So this would not be a play. The over would not be a PrizePicks play for me. If you want to take him over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, do it on a site that rewards you for taking on greater risk. Some site like a sportsbook or like a site like Parlay Play or Sleeper. They will give you a bigger multiplier, being that it's not considered a plus EV play, that you're going against the odds, in other words. So that's a fade for me. I'm just going to leave that one alone. TJ McConnell fantasy. He has certainly been solid off the bench. Let's take a peek. Benedict Mathurin went crazy last game. Maybe they try to go back to Benedict Mathurin off the bench. But yeah, McConnell, over the last 10 games, McConnell's hit the over on his fantasy score in 70% of the games that he's played in. His fantasy score projection 17.83 today. Back-to-back massive games off the bench for the Pacers. 29.6 fantasy, 31.7 fantasy. When he plays at home, pretty solid. He's gone over his fantasy score now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like 9 out of the last 11 games played at home, he's cleared the fantasy score. It's looking good. Against OKC head-to-head, total of 7 head-to-heads versus OKC over the last 2 seasons. 86% hit rate, 23.5 fantasy score for TJ McConnell. I like that, dude. I'm going to add good call out. 15.5 fantasy score. I might have to add him to the picks list. Let's add him for right now. Let me check some other projections on McConnell, though. 15.5 just seems very doable. Very, very doable. His projection on shot quality is 15.92. So barely over 15.5, but over nonetheless. Let's check his projection over on FanDuel Research. They've got him at 17.8 fantasy score. So a little bit better there. Better projection. McConnell over on LineStar, his fantasy score projection is at 22.8. That's the biggest projection of any of the sites so far. All right, yeah. I'm going to leave him on there. I'll take the over on his fantasy score. I rock with that. Oh, you got the other little white boy from the other team, Caruso fantasy score. Yeah, he's been pretty good too, hasn't he? Let me double check him out though. 22.5, so a little bit bigger number than McConnell for sure, but probably a bigger role as well. Last 10 games for Caruso, 60%, 21.3 fantasy points per game. So slightly under, but he has hit in 4 straight, including 3 for 3 versus the Pacers in this series. 35.2, 23.1, and 25 fantasy score in these games against the Pacers. Previous games against the Pacers, some from this season, some from last. 75% hit rate, 27.8 fantasy score per game in that 8-game span. 6 of 8. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's looking pretty good. Projected for about 28.5. His line is 22.5. So that's about a difference of 6 fantasy score. Okay. Let's check him out on shot quality real quick. Caruso. Ooh, that's a lower projection. 21.58 fantasy points. Okay. Not what I was expecting. Where's he at over on FanDuel Research? 24.5 fantasy points on FanDuel's research page. Okay. And then over on LineStar's got him at 32.8 fantasy score. Holy crap, that's a huge projection. So pretty much all the sites are in agreement. Caruso over fantasy score except for one. Let me check one more here if I can. That's not going to be an accurate projection. All right. Never mind. Fantasy Labs is off the table. Let me go here. Yeah. All right. Fantasy Labs has Caruso going over fantasy points, and points and rebounds. I'll throw him in there. Hell, why not? If I'm going to play anything NBA, I'm just glad it's going to be protected. I'll say that. All right. Here's what we have, gang. Let's narrow this down to 6 and send this slip into PrizePicks. We've been streaming for about an hour and a half now, way longer than I expected, but here's what we've got. I think I'm going to remove Ellie De La Cruz because we got to get this down to 6 picks, right? I'm going to remove Ellie, which leaves us with Isaiah Joe over 1.5 3-point attempts, Pascal Siakam for 7 or more rebounds, Jalen Williams under 22.5 points, Angel Reese for 11 or more rebounds, Jackie Young for 4 or more rebounds, TJ McConnell for over 15.5 fantasy, and Alex Caruso for over 22.5 fantasy. We got to vote one off. Here's where I need your help. Who we voting off? Who are we voting off? Is it one of the fantasy score little white guards, McConnell or Caruso? Is it one of the WNBA ladies in Angel Reese or Jackie Young? Is it Jalen Williams? Is it Pascal Siakam? Or is it Isaiah Joe, who's projected for about 7 to 10 minutes tonight? What was wrong with Obi Toppin? I don't know. I never looked into it any further than just showing you what he was popping off for on the optimizer. I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I don't know. I haven't looked into it any deeper than just showing you some sportsbook data. Who are we voting off here? To me, Isaiah Joe is a little bit concerning because he's not going to play a ton of minutes. Typically doesn't. Typically gets 10 or fewer minutes. I've seen him projected for about 9.9 minutes on one site, about 7 minutes on another site. Very limited run time typically for Isaiah Joe. And that's a little concerning. He's going to have to hoist up 2 threes in that limited time. Now, it does project out well. Isaiah Joe's projections are good to go over 1.5. Joe is scary with the minutes. Grandpa. I agree. I kind of think OKC might lean on the starters a little bit more, but I'm not too concerned about that for Caruso. Caruso's too important for this team. If anything, OKC might go more small ball and like put a Hartenstein on the bench and like get Caruso in there, run Chet at center for more of like a scoring and defensive boost. I'm not too worried about Caruso. I am a little bit more worried about Isaiah Joe. Feels a little trappy. Just a little trappy. Joel or Joel, I don't know how you like to pronounce it. I don't know if you're like a Joel Embiid kind of guy or if you're like a Joel kind of guy, but you got your doubts about Caruso. Okay. We need more MLB. I'm going to put some MLB out probably for Dub Club. I like to get into the nitty gritty on my MLB. I don't want to just wing it. You know what I'm saying? All right. I might live to regret this, but I'm going to make the final decision here. I like all these picks, but I can't play 7 picks on PrizePicks. 6 is the most they let you play, so somebody's got to go, right? I'm going to take Isaiah Joe off, and I'm going to run with these 6. Might live to regret it. It's a protected play for $5, guys. At least mine is. Yours might be more. Let's hit the submit button. Really cool feature here, by the way, on RotoWire. You hit the submit button, and then you click this little button down at the bottom. You can't see it on the screen, but it says Open in PrizePicks. This is where the magic happens. All the picks are then sent to the PrizePicks app automatically, which is great. And make sure that you're clicking your promotion for the Flex Friday Protected Play. They've limited me to just 5 smackaroos, 5 bones, $5. That's all I get. Got to give it a second. Once it'll let me actually put in an entry fee amount down here at the bottom, I'll do that. But right now it's grayed out. Did this to me earlier too. Kind of like had a little bit of a delay. There we go. Now it popped up. $5 is all they let me get, so $5 is what it is. We'll send it. And away it goes. Can I share this lineup in the live chat? Let me see. Let me see if I can just send the link in the live chat for you, gang. See if y'all can click that link. Joel. I got you. Too many NBA? What do we have? 4 NBA, 2 WNBA, something like that. I just dropped the link to that slip in the chat. This slip right here. Hope y'all got it. These are the, you can see that better. These are the 6. Lucky 6, unlucky 6. We're going to find out. But the numbers on most of these check out. So can't click the link. iOS, YouTube. Oh, okay. Some of y'all say it worked. Some of y'all said it didn't work. All right. Well, hey, gang. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. I'm going to try and do more of these Flex Friday slip building live streams in the future. Not sure if I'm going to stick to the vertical format. Might go back to the landscape horizontal format. Been a little weird, got to be honest. A little uncomfortable for me in terms of operating the stream and everything. But I think it's been okay, you know, for my first stream in more than a year. Or almost a year. But yeah, appreciate all the love and support. Share the live stream, share the channel with somebody. And we will catch you hopefully next Friday for another one of these. Good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. And if you're in Dub Club, More slips coming soon. Peace.